Have you ever been right and you really just did not want to be right? I was telling people even before we knew Ordeal Call was going to be coming out at the end of March that we were probably just going to get another costume for White Day, because usually it goes back and forth. Usually we get a new servant, then we get a costume servant, and last year we got Takasugi. So for me, it was more obvious that we were probably going to get a costume this year. But man, I can understand that it's just not a real fun time to be playing the game, because if you're playing both versions seem to kind of be going through a dry period. Not that the costumes are bad. I mean, I like Arjuna Alter's costume enough, but I mean, Charlemagne's, if I'm being honest, I really don't care for all that much. But at least they gave him a buff, which I think is kind of nice. They've been rolling out a lot of those, and it's needed. You know, you need to buff up a lot of these older servants. Got to help them keep up. Charlemagne, I don't really know if he needed one, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, it could be a little unfortunate and kind of sad, because we just did a video yesterday talking about, man, FGO's kind of in a very weird spot right now. You know, we're not really feeling it 100% of the time, which obviously at the end of March, that's going to go away completely, because NA is going to have a lotto, which is, I mean, pretty much just farming, but it's always really exciting, because who doesn't like getting a bajillion different materials and whatnot? You know, who doesn't like getting all that, right? But then also on the JP version, we're going to be getting new story, which probably means at bare minimum, more than likely 2 new 5-star servants and at least 1 4-star servant. And hey, if we're really lucky, like the Tomias event, we might also get some 3 stars, maybe even some 2 and 1 stars for the free-to-plays as well. That could be very nice. So I understand that it's kind of an odd point for them to like drop something like this and then for me to talk about it, but I don't know. It's just gonna be a rough like 2 weeks as we're kind of opening up in March. Although when they said that, you know, Ordeal Call 2 was coming out at the end of the month, I mean, I was a little optimistic. I was thinking, well, you know, maybe it'll be like the 20th, maybe it'll be like the 25th. No, they meant that's coming out at the very, very end of the month, because that's the 27th, which I guess we now have a confirmed date to when that's going to be coming out. But dude, it is going to be another slog. Thankfully, NA is kind of moving into their lottery, because we have kind of already started our event for about the last week, so shouldn't be too bad over there. And at least for NA, it does also bring challenge quests, which I know not everybody's going to do, but for me, that's always very fun. I love doing the challenge quests. And I think if you want to get better at playing the game, it is always better to try and at least attempt the challenge quest. Even if you have to use your command spells at the very end. I've done like 1 or 2 runs that I've uploaded where I was just like, man, you know, that was like a 20-minute fight. I'm not going through it again. That's perfectly fine, right? That's perfectly acceptable. But at least trying to go through there and beat some of those challenge quests, I think helps you kind of develop a little bit as a player. I think we did the Lubu beating the original Hercules fight without any of our command spells. And just doing that is kind of like a challenge sometimes is fun. But we did also get a buff for Charlemagne during this. I mean, again, not a huge fan of the outfit myself. But, you know, if you're a Charlemagne fan, you know, by all means, you know, enjoy the costume. You also got a buff that I'm a little bit torn on. I don't really know if that's exactly what he needed. See, Charlemagne is in kind of a weird spot right now, because before he even came out, we had Summer Okita Alter. And again, a couple of days ago, I already did a video talking about why people really do value farming for FGO. And I thought I kind of broke that down in an effective manner that made sense, at least for me as a veteran player trying to explain to, you know, other players. And so her being the better farmer, I think, really did hurt Charlemagne when he came out, because I'm sure a lot of people looked at Charlemagne's kit and went, oh, he's not able to farm as well as, you know, Okita Alter is. I'm just going to skip him entirely, even though I think they both do fine. I mean, if you want to use Charlemagne over Okita Alter, it's not like, oh my goodness, your account is going to be ruined. You're going to be fine. But he's definitely a bit more CQ oriented, probably. He's got a lot more crit damage on there. And so I'm happy that the buff that they gave him doesn't just overtly make him way better than Okita Alter. It almost makes his gimmick a little bit easier. He has like this exaltation, you know, Road to the King style thing that every time he gets hit, he builds up damage on his NP, which is really nice. If you're in a longer fight and you're getting tagged a lot, you know, you'll be able to stack up damage on your NP. You know, it's kind of nice. But now it seems like he's able to also get those stacks, not only if he's hit, but whenever he does a crit for 5 turns, and then also bombs 5 star, or not 5 stars, but a couple of stars. I don't have the exact numbers here, but it is nice. You know, it's at least setting him up to be able to do crits by giving him immediate access to stars, and he's already kind of a crit-oriented servant, which I think it's fine. You know, I've seen, of course, some people initially just be like, well, it's not going to be all that good to use in farming. And I would disagree a little bit. If you really do need extra damage, you can always do your crits in front of the NP. And that way it buffs up the NP damage a little bit by giving you at least maybe 2 of the king stacks that he's able to give himself. I do think it has some viability. I'm not saying it's going to be the craziest thing ever, right? It's kind of like a Hokusai situation, but a little more rough because you have to guarantee the crits instead of actually just attacking with Hokusai, where it's an on-attack buff that's kind of free. But I think it's nice that if you are going to be using Charlemagne, he'll have a little bit more validity, a little bit more viability if you want to use him in farming content, but especially if you want to bring him to CQs, it's way, way faster to start building up that heroic king buff, because you can get attacked up to 3 times a turn. You could do 3 crits in a turn, so you can start getting, you know, 6 a turn on really, really good turns, although probably more likely you might see like 4 or 5 in a turn if you get attacked once or twice. But doing a crit chain is not all that hard with Charlemagne. The hard part is probably more finding the cards, but once you have the cards, you know, he's a quick servant. He has 12 hits on his NP. You know, you're going to drop a ton of stars. And critting should not be a problem for him. But aside from that, it does just kind of look like a normal event. There's nothing here that really kind of jumps out at me and is like, oh, this is an insane thing for this event that they're doing. I mean, obviously, can't tell initially if, like, there's some insane, you know, Summer 7 style gimmick where, like we talked about in the base video that I did, that some of these events have these incentives for you to log in because they let you like send people out for a certain amount of time, or every so odd hours, you know, you're able to reclaim some rewards, whatever have you. It doesn't, I mean, it's not looking like we're going to have anything like that, and I doubt they would, but I mean, that would make the event a little bit better in my eyes, but it does just look like it's going to be kind of a normal event. I mean, aside from, you know, I'm assuming this is, you know, just bring any male servant. Like, I'm sure that's like any male servant's getting the 20% extra bond. And then these are the specific ones that are going to be getting bonded up. That's nice and all, but I don't know. It's just, I don't know, man. It just kind of sucks for me because I'm like, man, I was really hoping to be wrong on this one. I was really hoping that they were going to maybe just blindside us and be like, nope, we actually were going to drop a new White Day guy. Because I just finished reading Camelot the full way for the first time, because initially when it came out, I didn't get through it. Because I got bored really halfway through. But this time I was like, you know what? I'm rereading all of FGO in preparation for Lost Bolt 7 coming out. I'm going to truck through it. And I really liked Agravain. I thought Agravain was pretty dope. I would have really liked to see him come out for a White Day. But, you know, maybe he comes out for a Night of the Round Table event. Who knows? Maybe he comes out for Ordeal Call 2. Who knows? Maybe at the very end of Part 2, you know, where all hope is lost. And then, you know, Agravain comes in out of nowhere, says the line, and that's how we end up winning the day. I don't know whatever they're planning on doing for that. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Not like saying the event is bad or anything. I'm not saying that, oh, the event sucks. It's trying to be a Debbie Downer or anything. But I don't know. It's just a bit of a dry part. It's also very disheartening to see that, oh, Ordeal Call is really coming out at the end of the month here. Like, it's real far out there. So, I don't know. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Do all the interaction things. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace. Late, guys.